Hi, it's Ken Ham here, President of Answers in Genesis, the Creation Museum and the Ark Encounter. And this is a nice winter's day here at the Creation Museum. In fact, we're going to do a couple of different things today for you, but want to show you it's snowing here at the Creation Museum. Now, it's not like it snows, in Michigan or in Wisconsin or in Wyoming, but it's snowing, and we'll end up with 2-3 inches on the ground today, but it makes it very pretty around here at the Creation Museum and at the Ark as well. And we've got actually cold winter's day and a snowstorm coming through, and we've got hundreds of people at the Ark and a few hundred people here too at the Creation Museum, which is certainly better than normally happens in winter. But I think that's because of the Ark, and people come here and then they come to the Creation Museum as well. Well, I wanted to do a couple of things. Just so we stay outside here. I'm getting cold. We're going to go back inside. Wanted to show you the snow here at the Creation Museum. And then I want to give you a behind-the-scenes look at the Answers Bible Curriculum. It's unique in the world, nothing else like it, and thousands of churches are now using it. Thousands of churches using it. So we're going to go inside here, and this is our break room. Actually, we're going to go through the break. Here's Gary Bartalis right here.
Yes,
and hey, Gary. Hey, listen, you're in charge of curriculum development here at Answers in Genesis. So I wanted to get you to take us to the Answers Bible Curriculum area where the graphic artists are and the others that prepare that. Thousands of churches now use it, right?
Yes, and tens of thousands of children and adults are being trained.
And we're getting an incredible response where people are telling us it's revolutionizing their churches, their young people, their older people. Unique in the world. There's nothing else like it in
Definitely.
the world. So let's take you in, give you a behind-the-scenes look. So we'll go back here. I started out here because I wanted to show people the snow at the Creation Museum. It's our first snow, really. Well, we've had a little light dusting before, but this is really our first major snow. Well, we say major, we say a couple of inches.
Nothing like we get other places.
That's what I was saying, yeah, exactly. But still, makes the museum look pretty. And we keep the museum and the Ark open all year long. Because they're beautiful, warm facilities inside.
Yeah.
And so they're themed attractions that people can come inside, doesn't matter what the weather is.
I even saw people walking the grounds out there today in the snow.
Well, it's pretty walking around there. It is. Yeah. Over to the petting zoo. So let's come back here, and we'll come into the area where there's a number of graphic artists in here. So we're inside the offices here of Answers in Genesis, and we have people working on all sorts of different projects. And we'll come in here, and this is where we have some of the artists who are working on the Answers Bible Curriculum. And so let's go over here. Well, let's just look here for a start. So Answers Bible Curriculum comes packaged like this, and it goes from pre-K and K all the way through to adults. Is that correct?
Yep. We have seven age ranges, 7 age groups, all the way from pre-K to adult.
Now it's chronological.
Right. We teach chronologically. We bring in the different prophets where they fit chronologically. We try and show children and adults how God's progressive revelation took place in the order it took place.
And it's very evangelistic.
Yeah.
And creation apologetics all the way through, or actually general Bible apologetics and creation apologetics.
We bring in archaeology, we bring in history, we bring in creation apologetics, science, everything to try and really show people that the Bible is true history and we can trust it.
And then we connect Old and New Testament together.
Right. So even though you start out in the Old Testament, we are often pointing forward to how that shows Christ and things like that. Right.
And then teach biblical doctrine, teaching people how to defend their faith.
Yep.
And I know I've talked to pastors who are using it in their churches, and I've said to them, what feedback do you get? And he said, we get feedback from the teachers that they're learning more than they've ever learned before, and he said they say, this is not just something you can just turn up at church and just teach. You got to prepare,
right? And
then it's very meaty. And he said that they have adults, even the older generation in their 70s, 80s, who would say things like, I've never learnt so much stuff at church before, those sort of responses.
We have, in each lesson, we have a teacher background information, which goes through historical and scriptural background, and the teachers tell us that is their favorite part of the lesson because they learn so much as they're preparing for the lesson. Yeah.
So what's in this folder here?
Well, this is where we've just taken a lot of these lessons from here and put them in a folder. So we have all the different age ranges here, and this is the first the first year, first quarter, that really lays the foundation for why we can trust the Bible. What is the Bible?
So that's just one quarter
This is just one quarter of the different age ranges.
of the
yeah.
different age ranges. And we have obviously 4 quarters a year.
4 quarters a year, 3 years to go through the entire Bible.
We're actually moving to a 4-year one too, aren't we?
We are. We're
Yeah.
always trying to improve.
Uh-huh.
We're going to be expanding it. We've listened to a lot of the feedback from the teachers, and so we're tweaking things and even making it better.
Well, I've had people who are teaching Sunday school say that they've taught Sunday school for years and years and years and never seen anything like this, and that there's no other curriculum like this anywhere in the world.
Right. I totally agree. We always kind of see what other people are producing and look at other publishers, and nobody has the meat and the depth that this has.
And the apologetics
And the
aspect.
apologetics at all.
And,
yeah.
and chronological as
Right,
well.
right.
There's even some other chronological Bible studies, but this one's unique in the way it teaches the apologetics all the way through, connects
Right.
Old and New Testament, and
Right.
teaches those doctrine very, very meaty.
Right. Another thing we do, we focus on the attributes of God. You can see a poster here. So throughout, we're showing how the different accounts in Scripture reveal God's omnipotence and His wisdom and His love and those things. So this is another, besides the apologetics, we really want them to know who God is, what He's like.
So we go through the whole books of the Bible, and we also have, for instance, what's this chart here? The whole curriculum is really built on the 7 C's, isn't it?
So this is we'll lay it
And
out so people can see it.
The 7 C's that we have here at the Creation Museum, creation, corruption, catastrophe, confusion, Christ, cross, consummation. Well, the whole curriculum is really built on that.
Right. And so we have both biblical events and secular events here. This is one we've been editing, as you can see. But we use this for the older grade levels especially, but they can see again how
How it all fits
it
together.
all fits together and how it fits together with secular events in history as
And
well.
it all conforms to the 7 C's.
Right.
And we
That's-
continue to upgrade these things all the time
Mhm.
as well.
Mhm.
So, you know what I thought would be good if you can just introduce us to a couple of the artists here and some of the things they're doing, because we have full-time artists here, graphic artists, working on this over here.
We have a great team.
We have a great team. This is Todd.
This is Todd Marsh.
Sure.
Yep.
And Todd, what are you doing over here at the moment?
What I would do is I'll show you how we go about creating artwork to actually create the lesson theme posters that you saw over there and the flip charts.
On the flip chart?
Yeah.
Is
Isn't there a
Did we
flip
see
chart?
those flip charts? No.
Didn't my flip chart?
Yeah,
No.
John will have
John's
we'll
got
have,
flip
we'll have a
chart.
look at those in a moment.
Up and
yeah.
coming flip chart.
Well, well, maybe we could grab one of those. Could you grab one for us, Gary, just to show? This is part of the curriculum too, right?
Right. This is for the pre-K and kindergarten. Get these nice large flip charts, and so on the back we have the lesson written out for the student. On this side is the illustration for the students, so the teacher can hold this, read the lesson, and show it to their students while they're teaching. So Todd is the one that does all of these
Does all of
wonderful illustrations. Yep.
Okay, so Todd, you're going to show us here.
Yeah. So what we do when we get together to come
That
up
looks
with
like my artwork.
it is. I borrowed it from you to show it here. We get together with John and I get together with the editorial team and basically go over what each lesson is going to talk about, the main principle. And once we get that, I do a very nice rough sketch, and I made a copy for you here to show you. And so this one happens to do with the Red Sea crossing.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And these are the Egyptians drowning.
I can
As you
see that, yeah.
There's several horses here, and I have Moses,
Yeah.
there. And so this is the complicated rough sketch that we come up with.
Okay.
In each lesson, we create one of these beauties to actually illustrate. So I'll just take you to the process here a little bit. I'm old-fashioned, and so I draw everything by hand as far as original pencil sketches, and then I scan it in the computer. So I went from this to this. This took about 5 minutes. Not really. But this is the pencil sketch that I came up with, and then from this standpoint, this is the program I use is Photoshop. And basically from there, once I have the scan, I go in and I create line art. And the line art here is basically in different layers. And what that means is that it's kind of like a stack of pancakes on a plate. And as you have all these pancakes on top of each other, the bottom ones, some of them are covered up more than the top ones. And each of these characters is in its own layer. So you can see
Yeah.
that I can get rid of characters if I want, or hide certain ones, but each one is by itself. And so therefore I'm able to manipulate, I can move things around, I can adjust as much as I want to create the art.
And then you color them.
And then I color them. And this is all my indication for water, and that's kind of the fun part. And so what I've done here is this gives you an idea as far as this is still a work in progress, but this kind of gives you an idea of some of the
So
horses.
a tremendous amount of work goes into just one page.
Right. This is for one lesson.
Yeah, this is for one
And
lesson.
how many pages of artwork do we have in the whole curriculum?
Oh, well,
Per year, there's about 50 of these, and then 50 flip charts per year.
And then that's just a part of it. There's
that's
lots
just a
of
part
the
of
part.
it. There's a lot more
Although-
artwork.
and there's a lot of other
illustrations.
artists working on this too.
It's mostly John and I,
Yeah.
and I handle these and the black and white art for the.
So do you have it put together with the water?
Yeah. So well, it's in a work in progress, but I'll show you. So you plop that guy in. You plop. Let's see. Well, let's see. Let's just start popping in some water.
And by the way, people, in a little bit, I'll encourage people to start giving us some questions they have about our Answers Bible curriculum. And while we have Gary here, who knows it from front to back, can answer some of those questions. But I know when we saw the statistics in regard to Already Gone, the research that we did with America's Research Group, 2/3 young people leaving the church by the time they reach college age, very few returning, and really the research showing it was a lack of a teaching of apologetics. They didn't know what they believed, didn't have in-depth knowledge of the Bible, couldn't defend their faith, couldn't answer skeptical questions. It's one of the reasons we stepped down and said, we've got to do this Bible curriculum.
Right.
And it's not just a Sunday school curriculum. Thousands of homeschoolers use it as a Bible curriculum for their homeschool.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah, and even regarding that, with a lot of the artwork, I actually do a lot of research. Like, for instance, for the horses, ornaments. I actually went to Egyptian carvings and things like
Oh,
that,
yeah.
and try to pick that up. I try to pick up the different styles of chariots that are actually in engravings and pyramids and things like that. And so I really try to keep things authentic as much as I can, even the ages. A lot of times you'll see, different books, so-and-so married so-and-so, and they have a young guy marrying a young girl, where actually he's like, 78 years
70
old.
years old. And he's getting married.
And it's a little weird, but we do try to keep it as
So
authentic.
we try to make it as authentic as we can. That's another unique aspect of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even all the research you're doing in regard to the artwork, so it's not just, let's draw a few figures and whatever.
No.
There's actual scientific, biblical, theological research
Right,
goes into
study.
all of this, which is good. Well, let's. Hey, thanks, Todd. I know you're doing a lot more that you're about to work. We'll come over here and talk to John. So, John, what do you do in Answers Bible curriculum?
Well, I'm a graphic designer, so I take a lot of the pieces that Todd gives me and I put them all together in a layout. Like this is a take-home sheet that comes with every lesson, 4-page take-home sheet that the kids can take home and review throughout the week with their parents. And on the back, we have a devotional and things that the parents can work with their family on.
Now, is this for every age level,
That's right.
even for the adults?
Well, the adults don't get the take-home sheets, but
Okay.
the younger age levels do.
The younger age levels do.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about the teenagers?
No, they have a student book or a
Yeah, they
student
They have a
guide.
student guide.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
Not the. Yeah.
So so this is really done for each age group. It's done according to their age and
Right.
right.
and what they'd sort of
Yeah.
respond to.
Like the flip charts are great for the younger ones. They
Right.
like the big images and
Right.
yeah.
So that's for the younger grades.
Mhm.
Yeah. So absolutely fantastic. Well, we'll let you keep working on there.
Yeah. John does great work.
He does. Huh?
He's the art director for the whole project as well. as
Yeah,
far
so
as
I do a lot of the branding and kind of the vision of the covers and what's the feel and look of the curriculum going to be like. So that's part of my job.
So all of that's set up in here. Maybe we could have a look inside one of these boxes, can we?
Those boxes are empty there.
Oh, okay. They're just for show. They're just props.
So,
Come on, come on.
what would be in the boxes
that-
would be all of these.
right
So,
in
so like
here,
here's all the different take-home sheets that he's working on, that he's designed, and these are for the different grade levels. So this
And
is
then we have writers that write all this material too, don't we?
yeah. I mean, there is
Some here in the office, some that are outside.
Right, we have a couple outside writers. We have several who are on staff who are pretty much full-time writing lessons for this curriculum.
So, and what do the writers think of this as they write it? Different to what you'd normally expect in the Sunday school curriculum?
Yeah, I mean, we learn a lot as writers as well, because we're studying the scripture, we're studying the history, the background. So our writers really love their jobs. It's great to be able to have a job where you're studying and writing about scripture.
So what's your background, Gary?
I have a background actually in science and math education, and then I've been involved in ministry and writing and editing for probably 15, 20 years. And I've been with AIG for 11 years.
For 11 of that. Well, that's
Yep.
fantastic. Let's just talk to Diane over here for a minute. So, Diane, what do you do as far as Answers Bible
I
Curriculum?
do all of the book layout. Excuse me. When we have the teacher books, and it's pages and pages and pages of text that gets laid out into nice layouts that people can follow and read. And we have the prepare to shares, which is what each teacher will read to prepare themselves to teach the lesson, which gives them the background content. They get prep charts, and then all of the layout that gives them an easy path through the lesson. And these come to me as Word documents, and I get to turn them into, craft them into neat and pretty layouts that
Well,
people
you do
can
a great,
use.
you do a great job too, and this is for all the age levels you do.
This
that.
is for all the age levels, and then I also do all of the stuff that gets put on the CD-ROM as the additional activity sheets for the students to use, especially for the younger grades. They get coloring sheets. They get the teacher gets game components to cut out and use for games in the class, and these also come to me as just do this, and I turn them into things that the teacher can actually use in the class.
Well, and there's a digital version. I know we're going to upgrade it in the future.
Right now, we have the printed version of everything you can get. We also have it on PDFs, like
Yeah.
on CD-ROMs you can get.
So they could print it for themselves.
They could, and then we are moving toward even more of a digital version where things will be available just on your tablet and all downloadable and really easy to use.
And I know there's been places looking at translating this into other languages.
Yeah, we're working on a Spanish edition now, and we have had requests from other languages as well. They really want to use this.
So I think in one of the languages they use over in Russia or somewhere like that, I think they're looking at some sort of translation.
Yeah, they are over there. So we're seeing a lot of interest.
This would be a massive project, massive undertaking to translate into something else.
It would. Well, one time I counted up all of the pages that go into the entire thing, and it was more pages than the entire Encyclopedia Britannica.
Is that right?
Yes, that we are developing.
That we're developing
Yes.
here, and just with a really dedicated team. So this curriculum, again, it is unique in the world. It's called Answers Bible Curriculum. It's a 3-year curriculum right now. We're actually moving to a 4-year curriculum in the near future. But it's a 3-year curriculum. They can go to the AnswersInGenesis.org website, and you can just search for it, or it's down the bottom on those line-listed menus there. Or you can just go to AnswersBibleCurriculum.org.net.com.
I think
We have our own website for that, of course. Thousands of churches using it. Thousands of homeschoolers use it as a Bible curriculum, because you can adapt it for a Bible curriculum in homeschool, can't you?
Right, yeah, it's easily adaptable. And we also give suggestions if a church has, kind of the large group, small group versus graded classrooms.
Okay.
So we give them ideas of how to use it that way
How to
as
use
well.
that way. I know we had some printed material for homeschoolers and how to adapt it as a homeschool curriculum. for
Right, yeah,
instance.
yeah. Everyone comes with a little sheet that tells them how they could use it in a homeschool way.
And as I said, there literally are thousands of churches that are now using this, and they say they've given up fluff and stuff of the Bible curriculum that they had, because unfortunately a number of the Sunday school curricula over the years have become nothing more than just shallow and entertainment and what I call
Right.
fluff and stuff. This is
Right.
very different, right, Gary?
Right, we are. I mean, we always get comments on the depth of the teaching, but we're still trying to make it so it's engaging and interesting. It's not just a boring lecture.
And it's not just topical, it's actually chronological, going
Right.
right through the entire Bible from Genesis to Revelation, chronological, connecting Old and New Testament, teaching biblical authority and teaching apologetics, creation apologetics and general Bible apologetics all the way through.
Right.
So all the age levels are equipped to
Right.
know what they believe, know why they believe what they do, to be able to answer skeptical questions. So we'll just see. Sometimes it depends what happens here on Facebook. It can be a little glitchy, but if the comments keep coming, maybe there's some questions there. Maria, any questions that people have?
I haven't seen any questions.
So we're not sure if the comments...
I'm
getting
Good.
comments.
Okay. So if any of you have any questions for Gary, I got him right here. He knows all about the Answers Bible Curriculum. If any of you have any questions, you could ask him right now, and we'll keep looking for those questions coming up. Of course, once this is archived, they can't ask those questions.
That's true. This is your
So,
last chance.
so if they're watching it after we did it live, which a lot of people do, by the way, then they won't be able to ask a question. But
I got a lot of comments of people saying that they've used the curriculum
Okay.
and liked it.
Great. Well, I mean, we put together an FAQ, and there's a lot of information on the website if people want more information. If we don't have time to get them right now.
okay, so you can go to answersbiblecurriculum.org.net.com.
Is it by grade level?
Yeah, it is designed by grade level from pre-K clear up to adult. There's 7 grade levels, but as I said, there's a lot of classes of smaller churches where they have multiple grades together, and so we help them as well to know which ones to choose and how to teach with multiple grades.
Can this be adapted to a personal study? Or
Can it be adapted to a personal study or curriculum?
It could be. I mean, the thing is, it's written right now for a Sunday school setting where you have a teacher, so it works great with
But-
homeschooling.
But for homeschooling, that's sort of like an individual thing, isn't it?
It is.
So
And-
it can be adapted for that.
Yeah. The background material it's all the scriptural, historical background, which is really, really interesting and helpful. And then it goes through the major themes of Scripture. So yeah, I would think so.
Well, I've had pastors and others just tell me they've never seen anything like it. As I said earlier, it's just unique in the world. It's very powerful, and we it's sort of there's been a lack of real Bible teaching in a lot of churches. I think the Bible has been really watered down. Teaching has been watered down, become very shallow. A lot more entertainment emphasis. This is sort of getting
Right.
back to
Right.
a real teaching, in-depth teaching doctrine, but at the same time, for today's era, teaching them how to defend their faith and that apologetics emphasis.
Right. So many other curriculum are just what we call the Bible stories, where we are putting it into real history, telling them why they can trust it, that it really happened, that it's not just a bunch of nice Bible stories with moral lessons.
I've had many teachers tell me, they said the kids love it because they love to learn and they want to learn stuff. They don't want to just be entertained. They really want to learn,
Right.
Whether they're young or whether they're older. And so we've had some incredible feedback from this particular
We have.
curriculum. Any other questions,
You
Maria?
just answered one of them.
Okay.
Someone asked, what kind of feedback were you getting?
Okay, what kind of feedback? are
Yes,
you-
I mean, really, we have we get a lot of feedback forms, and almost overwhelmingly, they say how the light bulbs are going off for their students. They're seeing things they haven't seen before, and as I mentioned, the teachers themselves are really being enriched through teaching this. So.
Now, people will say, well, have you had any negative feedback? And I'll tell you 2 that I get, okay, because just be honest with people. Okay.
Sure.
So some of the feedback I've gotten, like from some of the teachers that are using it and pastors in the churches, and I say, so have you had any negative feedback from it? And I've had this a couple of times. The pastor has said, well, from some of the older generation, I did get negative feedback that they said that there was too much to learn and they're not used to learning stuff like this. And he said they're going to have to learn and they need to do it. So I wouldn't call that a negative feedback, actually.
No.
And then another pastor said, yeah, he said one little negative bit of feedback I got was that a couple of the teachers complained that they had to spend time preparing. And he said, but that's a good thing. It means if they can't do that, they shouldn't be teaching anyway.
Right.
So it eliminates those sort of people. But you can't just turn up on Sunday morning, for instance, and teach this.
Well, I mean, we encourage teachers to prepare, and we've written a lot of preparation in. On the other hand, each lesson is scripted, so it really tells the teacher what to say,
Right.
what to ask. So a substitute could pick it up and lead their class successfully, but they're going to get so much more if they can prepare.
If they
and
can
take the
prepare,
time.
yeah. And that's what a lot of teachers have told me. They said they love preparing for it because they learn so much themselves,
Yeah.
and then they love teaching it.
Yeah.
But it's all prepared for them. It's all there.
It is.
Everything
It
they
is.
need to do is all there.
Yeah.
And it is a wonderful curriculum. And I tell you, it's really taking a lot of places by storm, simply because the unique emphasis, the apologetics, is missing from most other courses.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, we review a lot of other curriculum, and rarely do we see apologetics.
And and this not only has general Bible apologetics, but it's got the creation apologetics emphasis too,
Right.
all the way through.
Yep.
And that's another unique aspect of it. Any other questions, Maria?
Do the charts come separately for like 3rd and 4th grade?
Okay, the flip charts are included with the pre-K and first grade for the young ones, pre-KK. They're available to purchase separately, and we have a lot of teachers who are teaching 1st and 2nd grade, and they get the flip chart because they know their kids will love it. So it's included with the kit for the pre-K, and then it's optional if they want to buy it with other grade levels.
And all of that is on the website, right?
Yeah, all of those items are on the website.
On the Answers
all
Bible
the
Curriculum
all the
website.
descriptions of what's in each kit.
And they can get it through our online store at Answers in Genesis,
Yep.
answersandgenesis.org, through the online store. They can go there and do a search for Answers Bible Curriculum and can order it all for there.
Right.
And the main website for Answers Bible Curriculum connects through to our store.
It does, yeah. It goes directly to the store landing pages.
Will there be online courses in the future?
Will there be online courses for it?
Well, we have separate online courses that are not Answers Bible Curriculum that we're revising and launching. I don't know that we'll offer the courses online, but what we're moving toward in the next couple of years is more of a digital curriculum platform where the different lessons can be pulled in, things can be edited or moved around if they need to fit their custom classroom. Maybe it'll even have, tracking for your students and your ability to send out a text to the students during the week to tell them to come Sunday and what you'll be studying. So more of an entire curriculum kind of platform.
So that's coming on the way.
In a couple of years.
I know there are churches that are coming up on their 3rd year of using Answers Bible Curriculum, and I've talked to some of them. They said it was so good, we're just going to start again and do it again.
And that's what it's designed for.
And we're actually moving to a 4-year one, so
Right.
then they could go for 4 years and then you start again.
Right, and as the students, so if a student starts in 1st grade, they'll go through it 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and then they're in 5th grade when they start it again. And at that level, they're getting deeper teaching and more information.
So
it's like a new,
churches can do it over and over again, and really there's going to be something different for everyone regardless.
right, because the kids are getting older and they're going to be learning new things
And
as
the
they
new things that get
progress.
more in depth, because it's the same basic theme for each lesson, right? But
Right.
different amounts of
And
material.
that's the other neat thing is if you're in 1st grade, let's say you have a child in 1st grade and one in 6th grade, and you're doing in your adult, you're all studying the same Bible lesson, the same content. So then you can discuss it on your way home from church. You can have devotions around that thing, and so everybody in the family is not studying different things, but you're all
But they're
on the
studying it
same-
at different levels.
different levels, right? But the same basic passage or topic.
So that's
yeah.
why a church can go through it for 3 years, start again, and kids that started in the 1st year, they're going to get different depth of material.
Right. Yeah. Well,
It gives them a good grounding in scriptures,
It
wouldn't it?
really does. It really does. So as they get older, we bring in more passages, and they can study more and handle.
So to
more
them, it
information.
would seem like all new material anyway.
Yep. And then who remembers what they studied 4 years ago?
Well, exactly. I remember a pastor once, I was doing a pastor's breakfast about a conference we were going to bring there, and he said, now my people have seen your videos, they need to go to the conference. And I said to him, how many of your people in your church remember what you spoke on last Sunday?
I know.
And he said, they'll be at the conference. So think about that. I tell people, if you can't go and give the sermon the pastor gave at church this past weekend, then you need to go back and hear it again.
There you go.
Because people just need to hear the same things over and over again. Actually, in Scripture it says, I want to put you in remembrance of these things. And
Right.
that's another reason to keep doing this over and over again, is to put people in remembrance and then teach them and get it into our heads so that we remember it. Any other questions there?
Do you cover topics like baptism and the Lord's Supper?
Very good question. So when we come to areas where there are, we're a non-denominational ministry, and so we don't take stands on certain things. So when we come to areas like baptism or how you
Eschatological views.
yeah, certain views of the end times or things like that. We teach. We either will teach. These are some of the different views that people have, or more likely, we will have a footnote to the teacher there in the margin that says, "This would be a good time to teach your church's or your denomination's view on this topic." So we're trying not to take really strict views where there is a variety of views within the church.
And we're finding that whether they're Baptist, Presbyterian, Methodist,
Lutherans,
Charismatic,
a lot of
Lutherans,
different denominations.
are all using this
Yeah.
Bible curriculum, and we have made it non-denominational, which is a really good point that we need to make. And we there are certain topics that we just either keep away from and say you need to teach your church's particular view here,
right.
or we share some of the different views. Well, with eschatology, I mean, we do take a stand. Jesus is returning.
Jesus is returning. There will be a new
But we
heaven and
don't
a new
get
earth.
into pre-mill, mill, post-mill. We leave
Right.
that out.
Right.
And so that's why this is used by a whole broad range of
Right,
denominations,
yeah,
actually.
That's a good question. So.
Yeah.
Craig asked, I am planning on coming to the museum in the Ark this summer. Will this be available in the gift shop?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, well, at the Creation Museum, Dragon Hall Bookstore,
Right.
the Answers
There's
Bible
a big
Curriculum
display
is
there.
down there. And the Ark doesn't have it because the Ark has a smaller range of actual books, resources.
Okay.
Really, our curriculum store is at the Creation
Right.
Museum. So if you want to see our curriculum store, because we've got different emphases
Yeah,
at the
different-
Ark
different
to the Creation
customers,
Museum.
yeah.
But if you want the curricula, if you want to see that at our bookstore, come to the Creation Museum, because that's where it is in the Dragon Hall bookstore, and you can get all the information there.
And this is a side question, but is the Ark good for my 7 and 3-year-old boys?
Oh, is the Ark good for your 7 and 3-year-old boys? Absolutely. We take all our grandkids down there, and we have 15 and one on the way, one to be born in a week or two.
that's soon.
Anytime, yeah. And the 15 we have, we take down to the Ark, and they're all ages. 10 of our grandkids are 5 and under, and 8 of them are girls, if you imagine that. And they all love the Ark and love to go through it. I mean, even the little kids, you know, you'd be surprised how much they can learn. Even a 3-year-old, how much they actually learn by seeing it and growing up with the Ark and the size of the Ark. It just does something for them and really teaches them from a young age. We need to be doing this because, you know, the secularists are really producing more and more materials for little kids to try to indoctrinate them against the Bible and evolutionary ideas. And then you just have that children's magazine, Highlights. That's a very big magazine in America, and now they're starting to redefine the family for kids and things like that. That's why we need to have really good material for our kids and bring them to places like the Ark and the Creation Museum right from when they're born, basically. Any other questions there? Looks like all the questions we've got for now. So go to Answers Bible Curriculum, answersbiblecurriculum.org, .net, .com, any of those. Or go to our Answers in Genesis main webpage, and on the bottom there you'll see it line listed. Or just do a search, Answers Bible Curriculum, and you can find out all the materials that are available. We're just giving you a little overview today. Haven't shown you everything, but a little overview. This is unique and powerful curriculum. It's 3-year, soon to be 4-year Bible curriculum that you use as a Sunday school curriculum. You can use it as a homeschool curriculum. Thousands of churches and thousands of homeschoolers, and when I mean thousands, literally thousands.
Yeah, literally.
Thousands are actually using this. They've adopted this now as their main curriculum because it is so meaty, so in-depth, and it's apologetics-based, chronological, biblical authority. That's what we need in today's world. Gary, any final words from you to people? What would you say about why they should use this?
Well, I think you summed it up well. I mean, there's nothing else like this, and we look at all the other curriculum that's out there. There's nothing that has the depth of this, the apologetics teaching of this, the chronological nature. We bring in the gospel. We focus on Christ, even when we're in the Old Testament, because all of it points forward to Him. So.
And we've had people say to us, look, my church has used a certain curriculum for so many years and it's hard to get them to change. They could actually start with one grade, because some churches, the pastor has said, well, you can use that curriculum in yours and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then other teachers have come and said, wow, we want to move to this, and so it goes on.
That happens frequently, where one teacher will be excited about it, they'll get permission to start in their classroom, and then it'll spread from there.
And before long, you'll find more teachers wanting to use it.
Yeah.
Because kids start talking, and
Yeah.
adults and whoever's using this curriculum starts talking to others and saying, we love this, we're learning so much. And they learn apologetics, which is really good. So we're going to sign up right now. We're at the Answers in Genesis headquarters here in the USA, in northern Kentucky, on a snowy day out there. And you got to drive home through
I do. I
in
got
the
about
snow.
a half-hour drive in the snow. But
of course, people in Michigan and other places, Wisconsin, would laugh at us for.
They would. Our 2 inches or whatever.
Yeah, well, they forecast 2 to 4 inches today, and all the schools are shut down, and everything's shut down around the area. People in some of those northern states would laugh at us, or Canada.
Todd's from the north.
Yeah. 7 or 8 inches. No, they don't shut down everything, right? But see, one of the reasons they shut it down here is because people have no idea how to drive in the snow here, and they forget what it's like, and then there's cars all over the road. So the good thing about closing down all the schools for the day is that it gets all those drivers off the road, so we can drive off the road.
Hopefully, that's right.
So anyway, we're going to sign off here from Answers in Genesis, and we'll do another one of these broadcasts when we move to the 4-year curriculum,
we will
and
do that.
to tell people more about it. Answers Bible Curriculum.